Most dental practices that come to us, they've got the same story. They hired an agency, they signed a contract, they got polished monthly reports of a lot of numbers in them, and then after 12 months, very little, if not nothing, changed in the terms of actual new patients they acquired. When they finally pushed back, the agency either blamed Google or just went quiet. That story is so common that it's basically a cliche in this industry. And you know what? That doesn't have to be yours. I've been in digital marketing and healthcare marketing for well over 10 years now. I've seen what works and what fails. And I just want to give you a real honest breakdown of how to pick the right agency in 2026 and beyond, including a few things that have changed recently that most agencies just aren't talking about yet. Here's what you're going to walk away with knowing. What actually changed in digital marketing over the last couple of years? I'll give you the 8 specific things that separate a genuinely good agency from just a mediocre one. The exact questions to ask before you sign with anyone. And somewhere in the middle, I'm gonna tell you the real reason the agency relationships fail. And it's not what most people think. So let's get into it. The first thing to understand is that dental marketing in 2026 and in 2027 is not what it used to be in 2020. And honestly, it's changed meaningfully even since 2024. There are 3 shifts that just matter. The first is the most important one. Search has split into 2 channels. Patients used to find a dentist by typing into Google, then scanning the results and clicking. And you know what? That still happens sometimes. But a growing percentage of patients now ask AI assistants directly. They type something like, well, what's the best dentist near me for Invisalign? Right into ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, and they get a direct answer. And they trust that answer, and then they act on it. If your practice isn't showing up in those AI-generated responses, you're invisible to a slice of your patient base that is only going to grow over time. The second shift is video. The stats in 2025 showed that 85% of all internet bandwidth was used for video streaming. Google and AI engines now treat video content as a quality signal. Practices with video content on their website and on YouTube have a measurable edge in both traditional search and in AI recommendations. If your agency isn't pushing towards video, then you're ignoring one of the biggest modern signals in search. The third shift is that reviews now feed AI recommendations. When ChatGPT recommends a dental practice, it's drawing from your Google reviews and health grades and Yelp, amongst many others. A practice with 200 reviews at a 4.9 average is dramatically more likely to be recommended by an AI engine than another competitor with 40 reviews at a 4.1 star. Review management is no longer separate from marketing. It's part of the AI visibility stack. Now, AI search piece deserves more time because this is where I see the biggest gap between modern agencies and outdated ones. This is called GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. It's the practice of making your dental practice visible in AI-generated search results. Traditional SEO gets you ranked on Google and those blue links. GEO gets you cited when someone asks ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, or even Google's AI overviews a question and it gives them a direct answer. These are different problems. A practice can rank on page 1 of Google and still be completely invisible to AI-generated answers. We see it all the time. A proper GEO strategy for a dental practice includes content that directly answers questions that patients ask AI engines with consistent signals across the web so that AI models recognize your practice as authoritative. Structured markup that AI can actually parse and cite, and reviews on platforms that AI pulls from. So here's a question I'd encourage you to ask any agency that you're evaluating. What is your GEO strategy for my practice, and how do you measure AI search visibility? If they look at you blankly or pivot immediately to Google rankings like you didn't ask the question, well, pay attention to that. Not that they're being dishonest, just they probably haven't adapted yet. And in 2026, not adapting to AI search is the same as ignoring mobile optimization back in 2015. You might survive for a little while, but you're going to be fighting uphill. Okay. Now, the 8 criteria that I would use to evaluate any dental marketing agency. Number 1, healthcare specific experience. Marketing a dental practice is not the same as marketing a restaurant or an e-commerce store. Patient acquisition has specific psychology, there are compliance considerations, and seasonal patterns that a generalist agency typically won't understand. So ask specifically, how many dental practices do you currently work with? If the answer is vague, well, that's a generalist agency calling themselves a specialist. Number 2, a verifiable track record. Not, we've helped many practices grow. Get actual numbers. Specific case studies with before and after data. New patients per month, cost per lead, what the rankings look like, and if they can't provide specific numbers, well, they either don't measure well or they don't have results worth sharing. Number 3, transparent reporting tied to outcomes. Your monthly report should connect marketing activity to the patient acquisition, not just traffic numbers. How many new patients calls came from the organic search? What did those calls cost? What's the conversion rate from a call to an appointment? If the report is full of impressions and engagement rates and light on booked appointments, well, they're measuring what's easy and not necessarily what matters. Number 4, a real GEO strategy. So we've covered this, so a brief reminder, just ask the question, expect a very specific answer. Number 5, integrated services. The practices that grow fastest aren't the ones with the best SEO campaign running in isolation. They're the ones where SEO and paid ads and video, social, and GEO all reinforce each other. An agency that only sells what they're good at will solve one piece of the puzzle and then they leave the rest. Okay, number 6, all in-house US-based execution. The most common way an agency underdelivers is by outsourcing. They sell you on their team, but the actual work is done by someone overseas that you'll never ever meet. So ask directly, is your work done in-house by full-time employees, or do you use contractors or white label services? Okay, number 7, communication that doesn't disappear. This is the most common complaint that we hear from practices that had a bad agency experience. A great onboarding call and then monthly email reports that nobody explains. Real communication means proactive outreach when something changes, having honest conversations when something isn't working, and regular strategy calls, not just data dumps. All right, number 8, a long-term partnership mentality. SEO takes at least 6 to 12 months to build meaningfully. Practices that switch agencies about every 12 months or less restart the clock every time and burn the equity that the previous agency has built. Look for an agency that talks about year 2 and year 3. Look for one whose retention numbers actually reflect what clients say. Now here's something that almost nobody in the industry says out loud. The real reason most agency relationships fail is not that the agency was doing bad work, it's that the wrong expectations were set in the first place. We've seen it happen dozens, if not hundreds of times, and it's unfortunate. Practice owners sign with an agency hoping for 30 to 75 new patients per month. The agency never explicitly promises that, but they never also push back on the expectation. Month 4, the practice owner gets frustrated. Month 8, they cancel. The agency didn't really fail, the relationship failed. And it's because nobody had an honest conversation up front about what 6 months of SEO actually looks like in a competitive market. The best thing a dental marketing agency can do for you before you sign is to tell you the truth. Not just what you want to hear, what you need to hear. Here's what your market actually looks like. Here's what realistic growth looks like in months 6, 12, 18. And here's what we can't control. And here's what we need from you for this to work. An agency that tells you the truth before you're a client will tell you the truth after. An agency that tells you what you want to hear during the sales process will keep doing that when things aren't going that well. The truth up front is the most underrated signal of a good agency. Okay, last thing. To summarize, if you're in conversations with agencies right now, here are the 8 questions to ask really fast. These filter out the pretenders really quickly. Number 1, how many active dental clients do you work with right now, and how long have they been with you on average? Number 2, can you share a case study with specific verifiable results for a practice similar to mine in the size of market? Number 3, what is your GEO and AI visibility strategy for a dental practice, and how do you measure it? Number 4, who specifically will work on my account? And are they employees or contractors? Number 5, What does your month-to-month communication look like after onboarding? Number 6, what does the first 90 days look like in terms of activity, and what should I realistically expect? Number 7, how will you report, and will I see new patient acquisition numbers or just traffic? And number 8, what's your average client tenure? If an agency answers all 8 of those confidently and specifically, well, they should have earned the next conversation. If they dodge or generalize or even get defensive, that's your answer. So here's where I'll land. Dental marketing in 2026 is more complex than it's ever been. Google rankings still matter, mostly, but you've also got AI recommendations to consider, and video signals and review platforms, all feeding into whether your practice will show up. The right agency understands all of that, has a real track record in the dental industry specifically. It tells you the truth before you sign and builds something that compounds over time rather than checking the boxes monthly. The wrong agency is cheaper and they will cost you a lot more. Apply these criteria to every agency you talk to, including us. We would expect nothing less. And if you want to see what Arcane Marketing does specifically for dental practices, or if you just want a straight conversation about what your practice actually needs right now, then the link is in the description.